Hey, hello, how you guys doing? Okay, let's get started now. Okay, dokie. I have to minimize this and get this right on for you guys. Let's see. I want to make sure that I'm recording. Hold on, just to make sure. Alright. And let's go over this game here. We're going to go over a Simon Williams as black. It's the Winier French. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a game between Yazur Sirwan versus Alexander Bedquitsky, and that'll be good. He's black. I believe he does the Winier too. So let's see how we do here. C5. B4, A3, because remember he's attacking. This is how the Winier goes. There is a line that you can play here. It's not as good because what this does is this allows the knight to develop, and then if you play here, then you play there, and when that takes, then you can take. It takes. Now you have check. And if that goes down, then you can actually come over, and potentially that is playable. Something like that. So you just got to be careful how the Winier setup is. Now you get to trade off a potential bishop. If he wants to trade off the bishop, we'll be more than happy to do it. Our idea is to potentially implant a knight on c4, or maybe even play c4, but I doubt we want to play c4. That makes our bishop very bad. So probably knight c, and then when the bishop takes, that bishop will take, and it'll be on c4 outside the pawn chain, which means that it's turned from a bad bishop to a good bishop. So he takes Simon's opponent, and a4. Queen comes in, that's under fire. Potentially that's under fire twice, because you could take, and then take, and then queen takes, and you've won a pawn. So now we're also, if queen takes here, which would be not a very good move, the knight can implant itself there and now have an outpost forever. Really nice outpost. Queen e3, takes. Yeah, because if he traded here like this, this only benefits black. Because if you can get the knight off the board, then black has a better center, and if something like this, you just castle and you just bring a rook over, come over, and then you're safe. Castles, A, B, because now what we're wanting to do is potentially go a pawn push, and then if bishop takes, you can actually take there, attacking the queen, and so it's pretty interesting for sure. Now we're double attacking. Excuse me. A to B1, H6, H3, and then rook. One second, I gotta get a drink of water. D2, and now we're doubling up. So potentially we could have a knight move there. That'd be interesting. Now this knight move is a playable. Takes. There goes pawn. There goes pawn. And the opponent resigns here. Because if you take here, you have this nice little forking idea. And there's no real way to handle the loss of a knight, so that's kind of why his opponent resigned. That's not what kinda it is. See, we're using the mind the Lord's given us, so that's cool. Okay, this is Yasser 2600. So let's take a look here. D5, knight B, D2, D takes E4, knight takes E4, and knight to D7. Knight F3, bishop to F7. Oops, I had to flip the board around, my bad, sorry. That was my problem there. Let's start all over real quick, okay? Sorry about that. Kind of a weird Rubinstein variation. Mainly a sideline. I think Yasser liked playing the sign lines because it would throw his opponents off. I noticed that. Like if this is played, you can't play there because you'll lose the knight. So, and B6. And if pawn takes, you could just take back with the bishop, and if bishop takes, and now at this point if he trades and it brings it over, you can then just bring there, and it's potentially an interesting move. Sorry about that. C4, castles, takes. Wait a second, I missed something here. I apologize, guys. Forgive me. I gotta go back again. We'll just let's make sure that we get to the point we need to. Okay, takes, and then knight comes in, attacking the bishop. Now the queen is attacking the knight, and the bishop's attacking, and the knight's attacking the bishop. C1. Now the knight's under protection, and potentially we either have two bishop moves, one right there and one right there. That's an interesting idea. So rook d3, and now he's gonna lose a pawn. He'll have to push c4 otherwise. And there we go. Now if pawn takes here, we'll just take back, and now we're eyeing a pawn, and if he takes there, you just grab that pawn. And if that, then what you can do is grab a rook, and if bishop takes, and now you can actually take there. So potentially maybe back here, maybe if takes here, best would actually be taking, but I'm not sure. I think the knight then could retreat back, so I kind of like the bishop takes. And if queen takes, then you play bishop takes, and at this point we can just take back, and I think we're winning. It's kind of an equal game, but I think the queen's gonna have to retreat back, so something like this, and then there, and then we have to bring a rook over to guard. Then that's gonna happen. You come back, rook takes, bishop takes, and then potentially pawn to c3 is an idea. So there. The rook comes over, queen comes back to protect the bishop, because we want to keep our bishop on this pin as quick as we can, because it stops the knight from being taken. It's kind of a forced move. Now the knight's attacking the bishop. bishop goes to b1, which is a mistake. See, a4 has an idea of a potential holding back with, if like e4 happens here, what you can do at this point is I would have played b3, and now you've got a cemented line. So, or bishop b5, and if bishop takes, and then h5 is an idea, or a5 is an idea. So, but he plays bishop b1. One sec, let me get a drink of water. Sorry about that, guys. Just got a little thirsty. It's a little warm here. Good night. C6. Now we have a potential for knight to d4, which would be a good move. Ooh. So we're going after the king. I wonder why this wasn't the best. Let me see. Let's see actually what the best was. Why doesn't it like that? Well, then you can play. Interesting. Okay. So we had a kind of interesting idea there. Sometimes I get a hair in my mouth. Ugh. That's not fun. Okay, there we go. Finally got it. Bishop there. Now everything's trying to get fortified. We want a piece now. So we should be able to convert this. And now we're just slowly maneuvering potential there, and then we take. So d4. Now we're going after the potential for doubling up with a rook on there to attack the queen, which would bring a little bit of love to the position. Knight f2. Yeah, like what we're saying, this right here is more of a idea than if like c3. And black's better. He plays there, so knight comes in, bishop takes, pawn. See this, it's kind of funny. You have to use your Aikido principle to find this move here. When they walk off this file here, when he goes off, it's like you have to say to yourself, can I potentially play that move and win a piece, a pawn? And yes, we can. Surprisingly, this is actually a one game. Here, there's really, he's gonna have to play something like that, and you have there. That's a kind of fork. So if he plays here, though, then you take there, and he would check. If it comes that way, then you check. Comes that way. Let me see here. Maybe best is actually taking there and then threatening me. So then what would happen is the rook would have to slip back. Also, it frees this up here. This for that. So, yeah, that's kind of why that was a missed idea. It's not easy to find these ideas though over the board. But we'll start being able to do that, so don't worry. You know what? It takes time, be patient, and then, infiltrate. He's just slowly trying to come in. He wins a pawn. Check. Now we're trying to infiltrate in, trying to get some checks going, but we can't at that moment, so now we're attacking the queen. Check. This does play an interesting role. If he plays there, then we can actually take, and then if he takes, it's mate. So that's an interesting move that could possibly be played. G4, pawn takes G4, king takes G4, and then now what we're trying to do is see if we can't get a rook in here, or potentially a rook here, and then a queen cross up there for mate. Now that's pinned. Queen comes in at D4. So now stuff's starting to happen. We have a cross attack here, so we have this and that. We're really taking advantage of all this. We're working our heart out to get that. And we're going to get to see that dubious move. And now D4. Takes. King moves. Now we've actually won the game here. And he resigned at this point because I really don't see any way that he can recover without kind of giving way here. We win the pawn. So it's all about infiltration. That's the whole idea. So that's kind of one of our ideas. And so now let's kind of look at our studies. We're going to go into our studies now. Let's see. Alright. Oops. Now I'm going to do London studies. Okay, pull up a new one. I thought I pulled up one already. Sorry about that, guys. Just give me a second. We'll add a new chapter. Chapter 10. We'll get to our books. Alright. Oh, it's not working? Hold on, let me try it again. Hold on. Let me see if I can't get the Twitch chat working. Let's see. They had a new they had somebody who was on working. They had like a new patch that came out on Twitch, so I'm wondering if that. Okay, perfect. There we go. Let's see. Can you guys see this? Okay. So, are you guys good? Can you all see me? I typed in hi. If you guys could see me, yeah. All right, perfect. Okay, good. Our connection's back. They had like a new patch coming through on Twitch that allows you to have like 3 backgrounds at one time, and I wonder if that kind of didn't do it. Yeah, perfect. Glad it works. So that's cool. Alright, so we will get started into our London system again. Oh, you have a game to look at? Okay, we'll look at that game real quick. Actually, efficiently. And then we'll get to our studies on that. Oh, it's a London system? Sweet. So you must be white here. Let me see. Nice. Okay, yeah, this is kind of the interesting line here. Let me see. Yeah, that is the only problem with so yeah. Yeah, that is it is a problem sometimes when you're time trouble nights to calculate. But there's you can actually find out from one square how long it takes for you to get across the whole entire board from a night. So what I would have you do is, if you guys can, try to find like a chart, because like if the night's here, it'll tell you how long it will take to get there, so that you guys can get it all memorized in your head, and you guys will be able to know that, my pawn will queen and I can protect it because how far my knight is away. And can I stop a pawn? You'll know that by where your knight's positioned. And that's what the grandmasters, they look at the board more like numbers. It's kind of more like geometric positions. If you guys like geometry and math, you guys will really like chess then, because that's how a lot of forks, pins, skewers, double attacks, and checkmates and all those come to pass. So c5. Okay. I'm surprised he didn't take here. Well, I guess that would probably be a problem. Well, then he can trade his knight off or his bishop off for a knight. Maybe this might benefit black some. I was thinking though, if he plays that, let's see, if we take, let's just see what would happen if we takes. Then we have knight, so he'd have to actually retreat back. Then you'd have to look to see, he'd have to play there, so then yeah, I guess taking would be an inferior move. I want to see, actually, just give me 1 sec. I want to see what, okay, so taking is the correct move. Okay, if he takes there, so knight takes. Okay, so queen a4 is an error. Okay, so rather than queen a4, I just wanted to check to that. Yeah. There's this, yeah, that, okay, perfect. This is actually a better square for the queen. That makes more sense than there, because the queen has nothing. So the knight would actually have to go back. Okay, alright, that makes sense now then. Then the knight comes in. The knight takes. Now you have it attacked there, so the knight would have to move there. Okay, then you develop. Okay, I see. Then you'd castle. Okay. At least I know how to handle the... Now we know how to handle the bishop coming here. You just take it. You take... First of all, if he does that, you take. He takes. You play queen e2. When the knight retreats back, you go e4 right away. And then if takes, then... Sorry, if takes, then knight takes. And if knight takes... Oops. Drat. Hold on. Here, let me get this all set up, because it's important that we see this. Then we play there, and if takes, we take. If takes, then our queen takes, and our next potential move might be knight f3 and castle. Okay, and that makes practical sense. So bishop take. That's interesting. Wondering if this couldn't have been played. And then if he plays back here, maybe we could just move our knight. Yeah, I'm just trying to see what potentially we can do, because it's really an odd move that he played there, and his knight's really awkwardly positioned. So, we can't play there because of this, so that's not fun. I guess we'd have to take at that point. I mean, that's the only thing, because if he plays here, we just take, and if he takes, we take. And you're actually up. Let's see, he's got 5 pawns. You have 7. So you're up 2 pawns in that line. Yeah. Nice move. That's actually, I like this move because it dominates a lot of squares. Oh yeah. So the idea of knight there is okay to aim for that pawn. Gotcha. That makes sense. Could he just... Can he actually just take here? Then if he plays there, you just protect your knight? Could I actually just win a pawn? Actually, yeah. Let's see if that... I want to see if takes is right. I believe it is. Oh, it likes that. What happens if you take? Let's see. I'm probably missing something here. I was thinking that... Okay, Okay, he pushes. Alright, so this actually was favored by the computer. Okay, G6, that's not the best of moves. That hung a pawn. He should have moved his knight, maybe something like this, but I guess he's still gonna lose a pawn though. So I think he's gonna lose a pawn anyways. Let's see here. Maybe you could have played there, and if he takes there, you could take. You kind of dominate this knight, and you're threatening a fork. So he can't play there because of, well, I guess he could play there. But then, you have enough, you have 5 versus 4, so. Nice. Yeah, that's exactly right. You gotta sometimes add some pressure. I think you could have played here, if I'm not mistaken, and put the question to black. If you want to go there, you're gonna lose something. Or maybe no. Maybe I'm missing something here. Oh no, it's that. Sorry, it's that. You're going to not be able to hold this. Let's see if the pawn push is right, because I'm trying to. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Because if he plays there. Okay, so that's what it likes. Okay, so it doesn't like my d7 or a6. So we'll delete that. Okay, it likes that because of the expand. Okay, that makes sense because of the expansion. You can't go back. It's kind of it's trapped. I missed that it was trapped. So it has to do that. Then you take, rook takes, and then potentially you have a rook, something like this, attacking the knight. Loose piece, you go for the loose piece. So he's going to have to do something like that. And now you can protect your knight. And now you've acquired at least one rook on the 7th, so you should be fine. Oh, wow. Let's see, potentially, no, that's not the best. Maybe something like that, and then if he goes back, then you can hold. Still good. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So this was one idea that he would have had to move there, and then you win a rook for you're still up one pawn, so you should be fine. Yeah. Yeah. You know, that's okay. Hey, you know what? As long as we're learning, that's all that matters. And then takes. Maybe we could just trade off, and he might play something like that. Then you can potentially bounce your knight right back in. Alright. Okay. That was an excellent game though. Oops, I gotta ask a question. Do you have any questions here? I should have asked that before we went back to our London studies. Do you have any questions here? Okay, I'll let you, if you have a question, I'll give you some time to type in. We'll go over our London while we're waiting. And if you put something in, we'll go back and check out in the game where you have a question about it. So take your time if you have a question. Not to worry. I notice this is mainly the most. There's two common lines. That and that is the most common line in the London system. Or sorry, D5 and knight F6. That's right. D5, bishop. Okay, bishop F4, and then now we have the ability to push onto E3 would be an interesting idea. So, okay, knight F6, which is forced, because this is only way you can develop. Then potentially, remember, we talked if the bishop goes to E7, it's the old main line. If he goes to D5 or D6, it's basically the newer line for the London. Okay, E3, and then so it did the old line. This is more of an attacker's line. You'd have to come back. There are some lines where you can push here, but then he plays there, you push back, he plays there. And you've weakened his structure, so. But that's not what's usually played. Hey. How you doing? So delete. So there, okay. Yeah, there's potentially you can instead of playing there, they did say that this is a potential idea that you could play first and then play E3. You can do that. Yes, exactly. I'm doing great. Hey, you know what? When you're doing chess and using the mind the Lord's given you, you can't but feel good. Sometimes a little tired, but you know what? That's why we do it. We keep pushing and pushing ourselves to greatness. So he castles here, which, oops, sorry, no, what did I miss? He says, oh, C4, sorry. And this, you could potentially do B4. They were talking about B5, but this would be more of a dubious move if you did C3, because there's no real attack going on right now. It kind of is slow, but if you like a solid structure, you don't want any kind of weaknesses, you kind of have a day like you just don't want to do sharp lines, this right here is still a fine move. It's the London system, but if you wanted to be a little more aggressive, oops, not there, that's not what I want. Sorry, if you wanted to be more, there we go. If you want to be more aggressive a little bit, C4, because you're provoking the idea of B4. You're also trying to undermine the structure of the D pawn by potentially taking, and you may even shut down the whole queenside with c5 later on, and then go for expansion. It all depends on how you're feeling that day. So castles, knight c3. They're saying that potentially instead of castles, c6 is more of a natural move for black. You can do c6. So after castles, knight c5. Sorry, nope. Sorry, wrong. At this point, sorry, that's not the right spot. He plays here. This is what they're saying. This is more of the natural spot right here, because you're fortifying everything. You're preparing if whites to take. You then now can take with your deep c6 pawn, reinforce the center, and give your bishop exit points to like a3 all the way down to a4, all this stuff. So you have to have a plan and work your plan, use your plan like that. So d takes c, because that's our idea. And hold on, what did I see? Knight c3, d takes c. What's going on? Did I not move a bishop right? Bishop e, c4, castles, c5. Hold on, let me check this out real quick. Sorry guys, I just want to make sure, because I might have missed him. I might have slipped a move on this thing here. I missed a move. Let's see, there. So far so good. e3, got it. I just want to check with the book my notes. c4, okay, so far so good. So castles, we're good. Knight c3, c5. Oh, d takes. Oh, I took c. I took the wrong takes. c5. I took the wrong takes. It's not that takes. It's that. C takes d5, and then c takes d5. c2. Queen c2 with threats, and then now we have we have h4 coming up the board. Potentially we have our hairy pawn going up the board. And what he said is his opponent lacks the familiarity with this type of a position, because usually you don't take like that. It's kind of interesting, because what happened is the reason we take here, I'll show you. His bishop moved, right? At that point you take, because you're wasting a time for him. He had to move his bishop twice, which allows you to develop. So yeah, another line that they're saying that potentially could happen is actually a5. a5's a line. Sorry, wait a second. Hold on, wrong again. Hold on, he plays sorry, he takes there, here. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it is. That's kind of the whole line, but they're saying at this point here that there is a line that you can play. Yeah. What it does is the bishop already moved once, and so when you take, the bishop moves twice in the opening, so it's kind of weird. For taking here, you get a move, and potentially there's a fork on b4. So you always have to look at the odd placements of pieces of your opponent so that you can take advantage of that. Let's see. Okay, here a3, because we're trying to get ready. That's right. Our idea is starting to come to pass. Surprised that he doesn't play here though. He didn't play there, so he actually plays Rook D1. Oh, I think I know why. Because if he he could take there, and if he takes, okay, I see. Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah, you have to remove the piece out of the way. Yeah. Yeah, that does make sense. You have to now he has to react to the position, because if he doesn't, he's going to be in big time trouble, which is really weird. I don't know why he actually played this move here, because that's going to come with a lot of traumatic attack. They're saying, you're kidding me. Hold on, let me see this. They're saying the subline actually continues with, see, D1. Where am I? Okay, D8 with, this gets an interesting line here. They're saying it's an interesting move because you're basically leaving your pieces on pre. You're leaving a piece on pre, which is kind of odd. Oops, wrong. That's not the move. Okay. Let's see here, yeah. We'll think about it. I'll think. Just hold on. We're doing our studies real quick. Okay. Because we gotta keep on task. So knight d2 is played. C takes, and bishop takes. See. Oh, see if the engine likes b4. Well, take a look. Let's see what it says about b4. I think we could still take here. I think we're better in this line. And this is pinned, so. And now we have a double attack. Okay. Okay, I see that now. Yeah, I kind of see now why he didn't do that. Yeah, that's deep. Wow. Wow. So d6, this is actually a blunder. Yeah, I learned something there too as well. This is actually a huge mistake. Probably, I'm not even looking at the book. I'm going to say more likely rook to b3. Let me see. I mean knight b3. Let me see if I'm. Yep, I was right. And guess what, guys? This was an exclam move. So hurrah, we're doing it. We're seeing the moves that actually are really good, because we're attacking here, and we're attacking here. We're attacking here. So we're attacking 3 pieces. That all the way to that. And then that. That's just incredible. That was no wonder it was a blunder. So d7's retreat, and then smack, rook takes bishop. Rook takes, rook forced, and then boom, b5. It's like that's game over. This is game over time. It's all over. It's all over. There's nothing black can do, but I guess he could play on if he wanted to, if he wants to feel more pain. But this is actually from a game, so and he resigned. It was actually from the person who wrote this book. He did a game that actually, I think he went over his game and played out what would happen in a prior game that he already played. He showed us an idea that happened. So he's teaching us a game, and then he uses another one of his games to show us what would happen with a mistake so that we don't fall for it, which is pretty cool, I think. Okay, so now we're going back to the mainline idea. This was a error, so I have to put a question mark there. It was a mistake. So rook d1 and then c6. You could play, they were saying, instead of rook rook d1, hey, how you doing? Instead of rook d1, it's tempting to take here, but this actually allows for a really nice idea. Not B. Well, it says, hold on, what did I, oh sorry, hold on, let me see. Oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't white, it was black's move, that's right. So if he takes here, this allows, this is the exclam move here, that's right. Sorry, I always forget, you have to remember there's 3 dots for black and one for white. So I have to always keep that in mind when I'm doing it. But this is a really strong move because you're pinning the knight, and anytime really you could take this because you can't defend it with that because you'll just take. So there's really no way to defend b5. That's why he just decided to just develop. If you don't know what to do, this gets an exclam too. So the idea is still good. Even if he takes, even if he moves, this move is really powerful because there's no the bishop can't come back to blunt this pin. So the queen's now in this pin, and if the queen ever moves, we'll take because it will wreck black's structure and cause a forever weakness on h6. So you have to always be on guard for that. Okay, let's see. So he takes here. Bishop takes. So now we're fully developed. We only need to do one more thing. We either castle, which I'd probably, if it was me, there's too much stuff going on, I'd have to play positionally, but I'm okay with that. I'm getting better with positional play. So h6 is played here. Queen h4 if you provoke a weakness. I don't know yet see, the only problem why I don't know if this works is because he could actually take, and the knight guards the h7 square, so this knight is a problem right now because it guards h7, and they said if the Greek gift and even Grandmaster Simon Williams says that if there's a knight on f6, f8, or a bishop on any one of these diagonals here, anywhere along here, you're not going to be able to do your kingside attack. So this has to be clear. This whole diagonal has to be clear. Oops. This has to have nothing defending this square here. That's kind of why he retreated back, and he's also trying to provoke more of a weakness. If he plays there is a potential idea of maybe even taking, and then but you just gotta really be careful because this is well defended, and he also potentially later can go After that, maybe even F, G6. Just gotta be real careful, because Grandmaster Simon Williams says combinations look like they work, but you have to make sure they work, because you can have such a beautiful line, but there's one, as they say, inside of a machine, there's one screw or one gear that's missing, and it causes the machine to go haywire, or something bad to happen. You just got to be careful that you have all your machine tightened up and everything before you start the clock or whatever machine you have. Okay, A6. Now he wants to play. Man, this guy, this player is thinking, oh, I want to expand over here. No, I want to expand here. Now, remember what we talked about? If we can get this knight to retreat, that gets an exclam. The idea will be applicable here. This idea will work if we can get this knight gone. It's a double attack, and there's really nothing that can defend this at this moment. There's really two defenders. All we need is one more, and we can bring the hammer down on our opponent and go boom. So probably the next piece we'd have to move is our queen to C3. That's what I'd get on next. If it was me, that'd be my next plan. So B4 check. We're not worried about that. King E2. Surprisingly, this king is actually safe here, and this rook, we don't really want to castle at this moment, because we actually have an attack coming down the alley, as we would say. You can go there. If he comes back, we go there, and then we come and we have a triple attack on this knight. So we're doing really good here, really good. He does do G5, which is actually an exclam. Surprisingly, black does an exclam. So what they're saying is mistake here, or an inaccurate move. This move here, don't get too hasty, and make sure that the line that you're playing here, that you're worrying about your king side. There's plenty of time for queenside expansion, but some players just get so wrapped up in wanting to attack something that they'll just provoke a weakness. A5. He's going to try to get rid of this bishop. Bishop takes F6. This gets an exclam move. And G takes. And then knight takes check. Surprisingly, this doesn't work. Let me see. Oh, it's because of this, I think. Let me see. I believe that's the reason it doesn't work. So knight, let me see, D4. Hold on, what did he not do? F takes G, F takes G, F takes G. Hold on, what did I not take right? Let me see, G takes, F takes, G takes F, F takes, oh, okay, it stopped here, 17. Oh, snap. Sorry about that, guys. This wasn't bishop takes. Let me see. No, I think do we have it right so far? Let's see. Bishop takes, G takes. Okay, F takes here. Sorry. This is the promote to the. This is the line. It was a bishop takes. Bishop takes would have actually been the best line. So, But knight takes and then takes here. Then d4. This gets also an exclam line. So there's two different lines. I did the one inside of the parentheses. So I kind of followed the wrong line. And if he plays e5, queen g6 is surprisingly winning because of the pin. The king has to move. Check and check. Oh, snap. That would have been a blunder. Hold on. Sorry. That even was a problem there. Shouldn't have taken. Yeah, this wins on the spot, the queen. Yeah. Yep. I knew there was something we were missing. That was the reason he didn't play. Now that's why g5 was played rather than b5. g5 was played, and that's why it gets an exclam, because he's not really worried about the queen side yet. He's trying to neutralize black's attack, and this does a pretty good job because it blunts the pin, which is really strong because you would have two pieces. So it's a pretty good move. I think it's good. Knight takes, check. They're saying that that if e takes g here, this is actually a mistake here. It's not a mistake, it's a dubious move. And he gives a line. He didn't like having to let his opponent off the hook, but what can you really do here? You don't have enough material, you don't have a follow-up enough to really do any attack. There's not enough. You don't have enough pawns coming up the board or anything. So that's kind of why he just took here. And the queen's gonna have to take back, so we know that for surety. And then g3. Well, this is the reason you'd want to, instead of taking there, you'd want to take with the e knight, was how awkwardly placed it was. And this knight here is much better than this knight. In theory, this knight does do right here does protect the pawn push. So your e knight really isn't basically participating that much. It looks like it is because of this, but if you notice that the bishop oops, get out of there, I don't want that. If you notice that the bishop controls these squares for any infiltration in that square, so this knight really is not good. It only has like 2 moves to go, really only 1 move to go to. Well, that too, I like that idea. Right, but that's what he said. He didn't want to have to do this, takes. He didn't want to do that. He actually wanted to, do this, but it would have left him with not enough attack for the play. So it would have been not worth his piece's life to sacrifice it for that. And this, I think, allows, if I'm not mistaken, it allows the opening of this diagonal. I think that's kind of what he was mainly concerned about, was letting this diagonal get open. I'm sure that probably would be okay too, that takes, but I just didn't like the looks. I would have traded with that knight too. If I was to take, I would have taken that. here and here. Hey, let's take a look. You know, you never. Let's see. Let's see what the computer thinks. So it actually. Let's see here. If we take with, instead of taking there, if we take with F takes. Okay, knight takes. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that's why. That's why he gets to trade off all the knights, and he does neutralize all. And oh, we're down a whole piece at that point, and we got nothing. Uh-oh, that makes sense now. That's why that's okay. It's okay. Hey, you know what? We're all about learning. Yeah. This is interesting for sure. The play is starting to ramp up. Let me see here. Where are we at? Okay. So he plays g4 with... This gets an exclam. It's a good move here. Really good move. b5. This is what he says. If somebody played b5, this would actually be a mistake / inaccuracy move, because it all depends on what the computer wants to call it. Bishop d would actually help with development, and then if the bishop comes connecting the rooks, you then can bring down the anvil of an attack. Check. King g7. You really don't want to go there, because potentially there's a pin here that would be very painful. So you kind of want to, I guess that's even worse too. I just don't think that there's, well, maybe that would be, no, I don't like that, because that's potentially a bishop pin along here would be not fun. Well, maybe you could play there and queen to there. That might be an interesting idea. But I don't know. I think that just traps the king. So g5 7, and then rook d7 here. It pins the pawn, and now this gets an exclam, because there's most definitely a tactic. See, there's a pawn, yeah. But see, he's starting. You have to be comfortable. Like we did before we logged off last night, we did a Nakamura game where Nakamura actually had, his opponent had 3 passed pawns, and Nakamura had 1 and a rook, 1 pawn and a rook. His opponent had a bishop and 3 passed pawns, but they were not connected. They were like all over the board. And Nakamura did not panic at all. He didn't panic. He knew that if he can get his rook more active and he can start working with his king and rook, that he would be able to most likely win. He did. So that's kind of what we have to get used to, is the coordination of our pieces. Not getting excited when, you know, something like this happens, or we are getting excited about playing b5 if we're black in this line. Just keep your king safe. You know, you need to get your development going, but you have to do it at the right moment. See, okay, knight bd2. We don't really want to place it here. There's no hope. There's no life for it there. So the best thing to do is maybe try to reroute. You know, get it maybe here, maybe after. I don't know. We'll see what he plays. Okay, b5, knight e4, queen g7, bishop b3, so we're keeping the pin there. So if this pawn ever moves, that would be a pin. So a5 to see if he can't nab that bishop off the board. d4 to see if we can't grab his, this is actually his best bishop, so if he takes here we can always just grab his bishop, which is in this line slightly better than a knight. So bishop goes all the way back, so it's like I am not giving up my best bishop. If I give that up, then I'll be in a big pickle. Okay, alright, well, there we go. So c7, bishop, queen. Now we're trying to go after the bishop. We have the bishop almost trapped. He has basically two places to go to, and if he goes to any one of those, we'll be more than happy to snap it off for our knight. So we even have that. If he goes there, it's protected by the queen. If he takes here, so be it. We take back. It doesn't matter. We're all in for an attack. So takes. You know what? That's not a big thing. This is the bishop we're after right here. Yeah. This is a bad bishop because of the pawns. So if we can get his good bishop, we have a really good bishop. Yeah. And then f6 was played to kind of hold on to the bishop. Maybe rook. This should be interesting how he handles. So d6. Oh yes, you gotta love that. Our knight's better now than this bishop. It's not truly an open game, because it's a semi-open game, because there's out of the two middle files, there's one that's not open, and it's the E file. So a knight is potentially better. If we can get this bishop off the board, the e7 bishop, we have acquired the bad bishop versus the good knight, and that's really beneficial for us. And this bishop really has no scope. We can even trade queens, and yeah. I like it. It actually gets an exclam. It's in my opinion, that's a very strong move. I know what, if this would be funny if they had an exclam and a half. I would have given that an exclam and a half. It's not two exclams, but it's really, like you're saying, Fox, a really strong one. White can't possibly even go. Yep, exactly right. And basically be winning here. If you notice, he has more active. He dominates this open file. Soon he can bring a rook over in an endgame and have two dominating rooks. So that's kind of why. And they're saying that there's also one other line that gets an exclam as well. This one, he said what he liked, but there's a second one. This move right here also gets an exclam, because it goes more to a mathematical, if you want to think about it. And this is the reason. Yeah. Exactly, that's right. They do. They are very passive. Now we can drop a knight, and we can actually win potentially that pawn with a pin. So if we somehow can, I'm trying to see. It was too bad we don't have some attacking that. We could pin the queen. That'd be so sweet. But let's see if we can't get something like that. So a7, knight d6. Bishop D to attack the queen. queen b6, going after the rook. Rook af, fa8, and then knight f5. Boom. Surprisingly, this is actually super duper strong. I know it seems like crazy, but it is. And then b8, and we actually he can't hold on to one of the rooks. He's gonna have to give up a rook. So if he takes here, we actually take. So he really can't hold. He's gonna have to lose one. Yeah. It's pretty impressive, these tactics that they see. So, but that was also a line that he saw that potentially that would end up becoming weak. The queen would slide over, come up, and then back down. Yeah. You gotta love these. I gotta say, when you get a really good book that has a lot of description like this, it actually talks to you about it. It's really nice to go over. You can actually then understand more of the tactics, like we just went over. That was a super duper deep tactic in my I had thought pattern there. Okay, let's see. Bishop takes, queen takes, and then king takes, rook takes, and we have acquired really our goal. So e5 and rook. There we go. Remember what we talked? If we can get a dominating position like this, this bishop can't really move. Well, I guess it could. If it moves there, we have a check coming down the board, though. And then he would actually have to come back. Well, yeah, then we have to drop a knight. Let's see what he does. That is true. That is nice when you do that. If you can actually play those out, you can learn so much from them. It's kind of what they're actually talking about, is getting books that really can talk to you. It's like having a teacher in the palm of your hand. So let's see. Yeah, that's right. Okay. He plays rook to a7 because he wants to do this. This is actually a very dubious move because it does stop, oops, not that. That was a mouse slip on my part. It does stop this here, but that's only a one move idea. And now the bishop is it's only defended by one piece, so if we could find a weak point, we can take advantage of it. Maybe something like that. So let's see here. They're saying potentially best is f5, like we talked about. C check, g6, knight c5. I was always wondering what would happen if he played there, though. Oh no, you can't play there because of the rook. Okay, that makes sense now. I was hoping that I could. Okay, c5, rook, f d8, f d8, f. To kind of trade off. Then you have c7 to c6. Rook takes, a5 and e4 to attack the bishop, and all the way back it goes. It's saying that this position, black is all locked down. There's nothing that black can actually do here but basically just sit back and feel the pain, I guess, because now you have a potential pin there. Ooh, that's not fun to get a hold of. No, and the bishop can't even go to b7 because the knight's there to even get out of that pin. So it's in a forever pin. And yeah, then you potentially got to check here to win that pawn too. So you know everything's collapsing in black's position. So that's kind of what he played. So what we decided to do was, yeah, true. That is true as well. Surprisingly, of all things, you would think no way, right? That actually does win it wins material back. So if he takes there, you can actually, you just want a pawn. This gets an exclam, and I'll show you. Well, this didn't happen in the game, but I'll show you potentially what could arise here. And white's more active, and he's won a pawn, so he's up a whole pawn here. And this is the combo that he saw. This didn't happen in the game, so that's kind of why I deleted it. F5 is actually what happened. Bishop F5. Rook takes check, because we remember like what you said, Fox, and guys, we want to go into an endgame now because his setup is very passive. We have more activity, and it's just 100% better. We're actually better here. So king has to take. C5, we're attacking the bishop. B4. And now, one thing you have to remember, if you ever get to a knight versus bishop kind of setup, if your king and knight work together properly, they can actually aim and take this pawn. If there wasn't this pawn here, the king and the knight could actually attack this pawn. This bishop can't defend it. It can only be defended once by the king, because it's not on the same color as the bishop, the light square bishop. So you have to be careful when you play against a knight. You have to make sure that you don't weaken pawns that could actually be attacked twice. That actually happened in it was a Fabi game. It was at, I think it's when he was facing Grushev Alexander. It was when they were at the St. Louis and they did the blitz. What happened was Fabi put his, I think it was it Fabi or was it Grushev? I forgot. One of them put their pawns on a square like this, and he wasn't able to defend it, only by the king. One of them had a knight and king, and so it just it ended in a loss, but that's okay. You learn from it, and we're even applying it to our play. So what they're saying, instead of let's see, what in the world, what's going on here? C7. Hold on, let me see here. C5. Oh no, I did that. That's wrong. Not knight D. Sorry. Knight C5. That makes sense. And that's why this has to get pushed. They're saying if we'd played this actually. Oops, I gotta delete that. But if this was played here, they said that's a potential idea in the book. It's actually a blunder, because knight e6 will happen, and when the king comes, you grab that, and you've just lost an exchange. So that's why he had to play B. He kind of had to pass the move. He couldn't do that because that would end in a loss. So E4 was played. We're now trying to say get out of here, bishop. And so D3. Now remember what we talked about? once you put a pawn on the opposite color of your bishop, you have to really be careful where your knight, that a knight can't come and attack these 2 points here. Sorry, these 2 points, which that knight can. So, ooh, not good. E6. You stand if you can't win that pawn. We really don't mind because they're doubled anyways. Rook b7. Knight takes a6. So we've won 2. He comes back, grabs that pawn with a rook, and then c2, and his opponent resigned here because there's really no way to. He's up, let's see, 2 pawns. He's got 1 passed. Black's pawn structures is wrecked. So I don't really see anything that he could do, and this potentially is an idea. Now you have a fork. So what does the computer actually give this? So it is a pawn and a half, basically a 2 pawn advantage. Yeah. H6. Okay, let's take a look. There was a summary here that he talked about back on let me see here, E6, like wait a second, 4. He says if your opponent plays E6, what you want to do is and E6, then E7 order. You have to it transposes into the Queen's Gambit decline variation, which actually would allow for our turn this off. Would allow for our bishop to come out to F4. So here, F4. If he of course, if he transposed into something like this, then let's say he played here, we'd play here and there, and then we play there, and it transposes into the old main line. I call it it's more, yeah, it's very similar to the London, and some people are not familiar with the line, so you may be able to catch them off guard if they play some sort of quirky line. You know how to handle it. You can take it to the limit. Let's see here. So you're saying something on 11. What move on 11 are we looking to? On move 11. Okay. Okay. Oh, you wanted to check out H6. Gotcha. Okay. Can we look at moves 11? So H6. You want to check that out. Okay. Let's see. So H6. So bishop takes. Oh, I see. You wanted to. Okay, you want to go over that. All right. H. We'll say H takes. And if he moves there. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, mate. So he really can't. Okay, that makes sense. So really, you have to be careful here. Okay. So he really can't take because of the mate threat. That makes sense. Yeah. Then A3 would have to be played here. Then you push, and probably you'd have to take. So yeah, that does. We'll keep that line in there just in case if somebody ever wonders about it. Yeah. Right. That is true. Yeah. That's it. And then we're going to next time we're gonna see what happens if rather than d4 we're gonna see what happens if he plays turn off the engine. This is our next. I'll give you a little teaser. E6 is going to be the move we looked at in early E6, and we're going to see how they how to handle that move. And he's got a whole different. This goes into somewhat of a Tarrasch variation of the London. So we're going to learn how to handle the Tarrasch variation of the London, and we'll also be able to learn how to use the Tarrasch variation against our opponent. Yeah, so that we get to know the nuances that help black out, and so that if we ever get played against and we want to kind of do the French, we'll get to know how to handle that. But now that we've finished that, we get to hurrah! We get to do some puzzles. You gotta love the puzzles. Okay. All right. So I'll leave this with you guys just for a sec. I'll do like maybe 2 or 3 puzzles. I know I could at least do 2. So I'll leave this with you guys to go over. I'll be right back. Yeah. See, queen takes f4. Okay, let's see here. There has to be a reason. What are we missing here? Yeah. Thinking we may have to castle queenside here. Thinking it might be this. Hmm. What is queen D, queen C, oh, E2, okay. Oh, that does win a pawn, doesn't it? Hmm. Yeah. That does win a pawn, so well then queen, yeah, it wins a pawn. I see it. I see what you guys are saying now. This, you have to do that. And then if he plays here, you just win a pawn. I like that idea. Yeah, that was a good move. This doesn't work because of like what you're saying. He could actually castle as well. I don't think it's the knight move. It's that he can castle. Okay. That makes sense. It does. Good find there, guys. For some reason it took me a second, and then it clicked in there. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. The queen's trapped. I think it may have to be something to do with that. And then when rook slides over, we push. Then he can take with check. Maybe we would just retreat our queen. We could just retreat the queen back. Let's see. Let's take a look at that line. Here, here, here. No, we hold. No, the knight actually blocks. This is the line here. I kind of see what you're saying. It's queen takes e6, and then if rook e1, you have knight to e5. And that'll block. Well, then we did. I think we're still okay even after that. If we come here, he comes there. We come here, he comes there. We can actually bring our bishop up. And when she takes there, we slide our queen over and grab that bishop. I think we're still okay. I do like your idea of the bishop takes on e6. I think that's the most forcing move, because at the end of this line here, takes there, here, here, takes, and then we slide over a grab. No, it's not a threat. I like that idea. Yeah. You're funny. I'm thinking that's because if the queen takes... No. I'm missing something here. No, I don't think that's right. Well, yeah, I guess it does. You're right. Yeah, you guys are right. I see that now. Yeah. Yeah, so the rook, if the rook takes, same with the rook takes, knight takes. Huh. What are we missing here? We're missing something. Yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah, that is right. Yeah. Yep, yeah, that's right, because if he moves here, you're 100% right on that. So he takes there. You come here. But he could grab our, but even if he grabs that, we grab that. Okay. Yeah, nice. Yeah. So you had a line, Fox. What was your line that you wanted to go over? Well, nabs. It ruins his structure. We're up basically a pawn and a piece, so we're up 4 pawns. I still like it though. Can we look at the original line of queen? Okay, queen takes. Okay, rook e1, knight e5, knight takes. C2. Nice. Nice work. F check. You just move the king. You have to just move the king at that point. Then you intercept, drop a hole. If he comes back here, you move there and you nab that. Yeah. Do you have any other lines you guys want to go after? We'll do one more game. I mean, one more game. One more puzzle, then I gotta log off. So I was able to do 3 tonight. Sweet. And we even got 3 games in. Then we learned 3 games. We learned the London system, so we're doing excellent. We're on a roll here. Okay, good. We'll try one more. Sweet. Okay, let's see here. This is a crazy idea. I guess maybe queen takes there. I think that's the move that sinks the boat at that point. Yeah, because then he has to move his rook here, and then we move our bishop to g5. Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry about combining all that. I should have spaced it out. Oh man, Shevitz. Oh, you're kidding me. It's that? Oh, I forgot that he could do that. Yeah, that was my bad. I missed that. This is the only way. We'll do one more. That was my fault there. We'll do this one and then I'll log off because I want to end on a positive. Yep. Yeah, I was so used to attacking the pinned piece, I didn't even consider that. Hey, it teaches me one thing. Consider all options. Let's see here. Yeah, knight f5 was an idea. Let's see here. Queen a3. I think, if I'm not mistaken, if we play here, he goes f5, we can actually fork this. Oh, you like bishop c5? Huh. That does make sense. Interesting. Yeah, I see what you're saying now, chess. Because if you go there, then you have that. If you start with bishop, that's interesting too. So do we start with this or do we start with that? Which one do we start with? Because see, if we start here, he'll win there. We'll take there. I think that's how he seals up everything. Or no, let me see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. But this is our best opportunity. Yeah, Queen B1 is the best opportunity. That's the only move kind of that it makes it so that we can win the rook. Otherwise, like what Richard says. He says that there is no. No, you can't do the bishop. It's the knight you have to do. It has to be queen. Oops, come on. What the heck? Uh-oh. Ah, get out of there. That's not what I want. That was weird. Has to be queen b1. It forks the b7 pawn and the rook on e4. That has to be the one. That has to be. There we go. Perfect. Do you guys have any other lines you want to go over besides the queen move before I log off? Which one do you want to go over? Which line do you want to go over? Sorry about drinking in your ear if I did, guys. Ugh, just got thirsty. Excuse me. Okay, let's go for it. Let's do the game. That'll be fun. So I'm glad we've all. If you guys have any questions. Yeah. Well, do you know what? It's all, you know what? We have to use the talent the Lord's given us. So, okay, let's take a look here. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's fun. Okay, you're white then. It's fun to go over games. I really enjoy going over games. So, because that's how you learn. Let's see, d5. So far, so good. So he did the King's Indian attack. Huh. Let's see, takes. Ooh, nice. Huge expansion on in the center. Okay, d2, rook d92. Rook C8. A4. That's actually not bad. I do like that move. That undermines the B5 push. So C5, C4. Okay, dokie. Now you gotta be careful of this rook. So probably gonna have to after that. So let's see, what would be a good move here? So you did I know you did A5. That kind of sticks your knight though. I mean your rook, it keeps it on A1. Maybe we can actually blunt this with that. Maybe we can make a chain like that. I kind of like this line here. I like this push. And if takes. If he tries, and then he'll take here, he'll take there, and potentially that. I think that move just weakens his king side, so I don't think he'd play f6 at that point. More likely he'd probably develop maybe, let me see, a rook, maybe a knight, and then try maybe to get in there. That's probably what he'll try. Yeah. Oh wait, let me see. So here. Okay. Alright, I see what you're saying. Here, yeah, if we do that, rookie, yep. And then if he takes, then you can reinforce like what you're saying, yeah. That does, if he plays there, then you bring your knight in, and if takes, bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes. Okay, yeah. Then if he tries attacking, you can just defend that way, and maybe even just say forget the pawn and just go all in like that, and then say fine, you can have it. I get that pawn. If you want that, no, he can't do that. So, well, he might be able to do that. It takes there. So I guess you may have to defend that with this first. Yeah, okay. Wow, he went for big time expansion for sure. Wow, he actually intentionally locked that down. Surprising. At this point, I believe you're going to have to potentially play something like, you're going to have to play rook to a3. It's important that you do that. It stops his idea of pushing. So, nice. That's kind of interesting. If he takes there, so. Nice. That was a nice move. I still don't think, well, I guess, yeah. Very nice. I kind of like this move here. That's just me, though. I can't play there, so. But do you see that? You see this right here? Did you see the bishop to c3 is huge. It does allow for that. I see what you're saying. So if we did this, it does allow that. So yeah. So we are kind of in a yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that does work. Yeah. We probably would have to at that point. Yeah, you don't want that to happen, so that was not the best move. We'll see if it was. I don't think so though. Yeah, I don't think this was the best. I think it might have been a error. No, I think we're still okay. Takes there. And well, I guess we're okay. Yeah. I think we can infiltrate in. Yeah. Yeah, that's not. It's a good move. I like your move too as well. Nice. Yeah, there really is no way to stop this from queening. Good game. That was an excellent game. Do you have any questions before I log off for the night on this game? Any areas that you want to go over? Okay. Perfect. Okay then. Well, guys, remember, studying is important. Game study is important too. But if you can, either find somebody like on YouTube or something that you learn really good from. St. Louis has a lot of good instructors if you're wanting to, learn chess as well. And if you find a good book, like I really like this book. It's really good. It has a lot of descriptions, doesn't have a ton of sublines in it, and it's basically straight to the point on what we need to learn in the London system. It's from a human's perspective somewhat, so there might be some slight inaccuracies. You always gotta remember that humans do err. So even the Grandmaster supers do. So remember though that you have to keep pushing forward, learn from your mistakes. If you win, that's great. If you lose, that's great too, because you learn from both. But like Josh Waitzkin says, he learned so much more from his losses than he did from his wins. It was really hard, though. It kind of tests a chess player. When you lose, and you've worked on an opening, you play that opening, and you wonder, did I miss something? What happened? But then you go back through and you find the small area you can work on, you do it, and then you keep moving forward. Remember that's what a chess player is based on. It's not the diamonds that make a person, like coal turns into a diamond. It's actually the coal days before you become a diamond that makes a chess player. During that time, it's so hard because you're wondering, will I ever become a diamond? Eventually you do, and when you do, you shine bright. So remember that. Shine bright for the Lord. And you know what? I believe tomorrow is the Paris Grand Tour, and so if you guys want to kind of watch that's going to be on, so that's going to be cool. I'm going to watch that, and I might grab some games from there, maybe a game or so. And so, you know what, like Hannibal Smith, a plan is not just knowing what to play, it's knowing what your opponent's going to play before they play it, and then playing the move that wins the game, because that's a plan, he says. You have to be at least 2 to 3 moves ahead. Or as the grandmasters say, one move, and it's always the right one. And so just keep that in mind when you're studying, that you don't always have to be 4, 5, 10 moves ahead. You just need to be one move, and it's the right move. Okay, I'll leave you guys with this thought. As Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless. And I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening. And as always, the Lord will, and I'll be back tomorrow on, and we'll do some more chess. So keep studying chess and doing good, guys, okay? You're doing great. And, be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, guys.